Stoic quotes and their meanings. Stoicism is an ancient philosophy that originated in Greece, developed by thinkers such as Zeno of Citium, and matured through great Roman masters like Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus. Although its foundations were laid over 2,000 years ago, this philosophy remains highly relevant to the challenges of modern life. In a world saturated with information overload, social pressures, and economic uncertainty, the lessons of these thinkers prove to be powerful tools for cultivating emotional balance, inner strength, and clarity in everyday choices. In this video, we will deeply explore several famous quotes from these great Stoics to understand not only what they said but also the practical application of their words today. You will see how their reflections on control, acceptance, virtue, and suffering can completely change the way you face your daily life, your fears, your frustrations, and your achievements. Prepare for a transformative encounter between past and present that will illuminate the path toward a more resilient and serene life. Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher-emperor and the art of thinking. Marcus Aurelius, besides being one of the most powerful emperors of ancient Rome, was a dedicated philosopher who placed philosophy at the center of governing and living. His meditations were not written for the public but for himself, a mental survival manual amid wars, illnesses, and constant challenges. One of Marcus Aurelius' most impactful quotes that still resonates today is, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." This speaks directly to the power of the mind. He teaches us that our happiness and emotional balance depend on what we think. If we let the mind wander without limits, absorbing everything without filter, it becomes fertile ground for anxiety, fear, and negativity. However, when we exercise control and choose thoughts that are rational and constructive, we enhance our ability to face difficulties with justice and calm. Today, this teaching can be practiced when we deal with excessive bad news, face criticism, or cope with social media pressures. It is an invitation to cultivate a disciplined and vigilant mind, like a gardener nurturing flowers and removing weeds, so that our happiness does not depend on volatile external circumstances but on the internal quality of our thinking. Another fundamental lesson from Marcus Aurelius that we must internalize is the active acceptance of things as they are. Accept whatever comes to you woven in the pattern of your destiny, for what could more aptly fit your needs? This phrase brings the Stoic idea that we must accept facts we cannot change but act intentionally and wisely upon what is within our control. In the modern world, many therapists consider this a cornerstone of mental health. The concept of accepting what cannot be altered and focusing on what we can influence avoids paralyzing anguish and promotes active development. It is a practice to avoid unnecessary suffering and to cultivate a posture of balanced protagonism. Marcus Aurelius thus invites all of us to be masters of our own minds and active agents in our lives, even amid the most turbulent events that may arise. Seneca, the teaching on time and adversity. Seneca, one of the greatest writers and advisors of ancient Rome, was known for his ability to transform complex philosophy into accessible and practical reflections. His personal life was marked by ups and downs, including exile and political intrigues, yet he maintained a firm Stoic vision on the importance of virtuous living and awareness of time. The phrase, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it," brings an urgent reflection on wise living. In contemporary society, where fast pace, multitasking pressures, and stimuli overload dominate, his message is a wake-up call. How many hours do we spend mindlessly browsing the internet, watching empty content, or postponing what really matters? Seneca invites us to value the present, to be conscious of the flow of time, and to carefully choose where we invest our attention and energy. This maxim is an invitation to accelerate on the essential and abandon distractions that steal life. An equally profound lesson from Seneca is that, difficulty shows the man. In a culture often focused on easy results and instant success, this phrase restores the value of adversity. Difficulties are not forces to avoid but opportunities for growth and affirmation of our very essence. Today, many try to flee discomfort and struggles, but Seneca reminds us that it is precisely in challenging moments that our true strength is revealed. This changes the meaning of pain and failure, now seen as indispensable parts of the journey toward character development. By internalizing this teaching, we can face our fears and problems with a more positive attitude, recognizing that difficulties are silent teachers that make us stronger and wiser. Epictetus, inner freedom and control of opinions. Epictetus, though born a slave, rose to become one of the greatest masters of Stoic philosophy, deeply influencing Western thought. For him, the secret to true freedom lies in organizing our thoughts and internally mastering our judgments about the world. His key phrase, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters," presents a revolution in how we understand suffering. Epictetus teaches us that the true cause of our suffering is the way we interpret situations, not the events themselves. In today's environment of alarming news, unforeseen crises, and constant conflicts, this wisdom challenges us to question our automatic reactions and cultivate a more neutral and rational mindset. This stance can reduce negative emotional impact and lead to more assertive decisions. Another fundamental point in Epictetus' philosophy is the idea that true freedom lies in controlling what depends on us, as he explains in, "If you want to be truly free, learn to control what depends on you." This internal freedom contrasts with the illusion of external freedom, which is often a game of forces beyond our control. Today, faced with many social, political, and economic pressures, this teaching proves essential for emotional health and mental stability. It guides us to focus our effort on our choices, thoughts, and attitudes, abandoning frustration over what is uncontrollable, a path to inner peace amid outer chaos. Epictetus therefore challenges us to take responsibility for our minds, showing that autonomy and real strength lie in mastering our own perceptions and reactions. Conclusion: the wisdom of the past as a guide for modern life. At the end of this reflection, we realize that the words of the Stoics are much more than historical records or academic philosophical texts. They are practical and powerful tools for facing today's human condition. Marcus Aurelius reminds us of the transformative power of thoughts, Seneca of the preciousness of time and the strength born of difficulties, and Epictetus of the emotional freedom that emerges from mental governance. Applying these lessons to our daily lives is less complicated than it seems but requires discipline, practice, and patience. Stoicism teaches us that virtue, control, and acceptance are paths to a fulfilling life, even amid adversities. These ideas offer a new lens to interpret suffering, success, fear, and happiness, adjusting our internal compass to navigate with more serenity, courage, and wisdom. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the thoughts of the greatest Stoic masters, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more content on philosophy, self-development, and mental fortitude. Also, leave a comment telling us which of these quotes touched you the most and how you plan to apply this wisdom in your life. Remember, true transformation is not about changing external circumstances but about changing how we perceive and face them. True power is in our hands, at every moment. See you next time, and may Stoic philosophy be a constant light on your path to personal growth.